Yo, it's the king of the burgers. In this video, I'm really direct, so sorry if it's a little bit in your face, but I'm trying to get my point across because a lot of these Deepwoken YouTubers, they do kind of take their time. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm not like targeting anyone. So Deepwoken dropped another update, and I want to talk about it properly because they said they were going to do bi-weeklies on the 7th of January, released a patch on the 19th of January, and were radio silent for a month, which I'm gonna elaborate on later, but for now I digress. Let me start with what's good about this update and the game. I really think the journal rework is good. It's substantial. For example, the bank and mantras and outfits, and it's all visible with the journal. And they also incentivize using the journal by moving the traits there too. It's not bad, and it's good. Substantial. PvE buffs are also good, especially with things like Contractor. It just incentivizes playing with people and incentivizes the use of a mainly PvP oath in PvE areas. Who knows what you could do and where the use case is. I wish they were just as well structured with how and when they do changes, but like I said, I digress. But I'm done digressing. Here's where it gets slightly complicated. This patch was dropped after a month of silence. The game was a crock pot for exploiters, for bug abusing, for who knows how much cheaters, and then the mod team has to pick up the mantle, but we all know the mod team. It's hard to pick up a mantle with something that's inherently broken. Who says they can't just go in an ult and do it again and again and again? And it's very discreet. I already made a video about the auto parry issue. That hasn't changed. They haven't even talked about it, which is also very interesting, especially if they're trying to heal Deepwoken. Seems significant. If you look at the patch notes, these specific patch notes and the announcements, they never address it. Don't acknowledge it, don't apologize for the exploiting, the bug abusing, so that's actually their fault as well. The thing is, you can ship a good patch but still have a trust problem. My whole point with Deepwoken is that what's your goal? Isn't your goal to incentivize players? You're not going to get a central authority type of spike without a central authority level update. How do you get those types of updates out? By scheduling, by having communication cadence. Previously, they had said they're going to do weekly updates, and they were very adamant in doing so. When I had my conversation with Agamatsu, he was very adamant in the weekly updates and doing those weekly updates. Even when I proposed doing bi-weekly updates, very adamant. What this does is it builds expectation and it creates an absolute scenario. Instead, in their announcement, they say they're going to do bi-weeklies, and then they don't do bi-weeklies. I'm going to go slightly off script here. What are you supposed to believe as a Deepwoken player? Is that not crazy? I feel like people are not talking about that. It's just like the worst. That's like the worst. How are you supposed to trust any future promise without some sort of communication cadence? I said this previously, I'll say it again. You need to build credibility. Isn't that also part of healing Deepwoken? Now for the balance changes. I'm going to try and be objective here. I'm not going to talk about specifics. I'm not going to talk about how buffing Cripblade is kind of counterintuitive when you want to help shadow cost and make it more of a balanced attunement instead of just buffing the thing that only made it viable. Anyway, that is a very subjective. I don't know how many people agree with that. Arc Warder got nerfed 5 times in this patch. 5 times. Rapid Punches lost 50% of its scaling, and Spine Cutter gets halved. That's not good balancing, right? It's a development scenario where they sit on something for a month and then release it all at once. What does that do to the meta? A game that wants to be healthy and wants to heal would do incremental balance patches like it was trying to do before, and you get much less complaints, much less drastic changes to the meta. And when you do things sporadically and you do things in clumps, like clumping in this scenario, it does literally the opposite of what balancing is. I really hate that type of approach to updates, because it's illogical. I think being critical is what makes a good game. It's not just about time, it's about proper usage of time and proper communication about what that time is being allocated to. And sometimes I just hate on Agamatsu for the sake of hating on Agamatsu. Now he's a developer, now he's important inside the Deepwoken community, and now he's pivotal in the game's development. He could easily use his 165,000 subscriber platform.
You can't do anything! You just can't win against me! I'm on a whole new plane of existence compared to you!
Be transparent about exactly what's happening in the game. He does this sometimes with podcasts with his much smaller audience on his server. Why not just make videos, conclusive videos that will about how you're approaching development in the game? He's still trying to act like the YouTuber he was before. You're a developer now. You can't be talking about they added demon step to Deepwoken. Who's they? You're they. Obviously, the TikTok scene is very consistent. People like drug dealing Dan, I want to shout out. Go back to patching incrementally, right? It doesn't have to be weekly, because clearly you guys don't want to commit to weekly anymore, even though you guys were so adamant before. It's just I want to make content on something new besides Deepwoken. But I'll always be back.